Hello, everyone. It is Christian here from the Calcio Bros, and what a weekend we were treated to in Serie A. A lot of incredible results, and a lot of them crucial for certain teams, and some of them have really shaken up the standings and really put pressure on a lot of other teams as well. But some of them were just statement victories, and you know which one I'm talking about, especially. So I feel let's get into that and talk about the culture that we saw this weekend and what we can expect in the last few remaining games of the season. Remember also to the note that there is a midweek game this week as well, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before we go on to the weekend games as well. So I'll try to do my best to update you guys when I can, but also try to do a video posting about the midweek games if I can, depending on also work scheduling as well. But anyways, let's get into what happened in round 35. We can't believe that Serie A is just about over. If it just feels like it flew by, and I guess it doesn't help with condensed scheduling as well. But anyways, let's get into the results. First game was on Saturday, May 8th. We had 4 games that day. So let's start what happened in the morning. We had 2 games at 9 a.m. One of them was Udinese hosting Bologna that finished in a 1-all draw. The other one was Spezia Napoli, where the Partenopei took this one 4-1. Napoli's men, Gattuso's men, Gattuso's Napoli are on fire. They continue their fine run, undefeated in their last 5, and they just continue marching on to secure that Champions League spot. 12 p.m. we had the champions Inter hosting Ranieri Sampdoria. Classy touch also by Ranieri as well, as he gave Inter's a guard of honor, as they don't tend to do that here in Italy, since they did it for him when he won the league with Leicester in England. So he just thought he might as well do it. It is a classy touch for sure, and well deserved for Inter and Conte. But anyways, the Nerazzurri took this one 5-1, won the game in style, and just it was an all-around dominant performance. But at the same time, it's not like both of them really played extravagant. Anyways, let's move on to the last game of the day at 2:45, which was a bit of an upset over here. Fiorentina Lazio. This finished 2-0 for La Viola. A brace from Dusan Vlahovic, scoring his 20 and 21st of the season. He has just been on fire, and let's see if they can keep a hold of him, or Camiso will try to get the most out for him. Moving on to Sunday, May 9th, at 6:30, we had Genoa Sassuolo, where the Zerbi's men took the win 2-1. And this did put pressure on both sides as well, in the sense Genoa, for that, trying to escape that relegation area, don't want to get scrapped into a battle, while Sassuolo fighting for that last and final European spot with Roma. So they got a big win there, while Genoa condemned to another defeat. Then at 9 a.m., we had 3 games. We had Verona Torino, where both teams split the points. The final score was 1-1. We had Parma Atalanta, where we were treated with a 7-goal thriller, where La Dea took it 5-2. As you remember, Parma already relegated, while Atalanta making sure they try to get into that top 4. And then the last 9 a.m. match was a battle for relegation between these two sides, Benevento and Cagliari, where the Sardinians took it 3-1. So it was a feisty affair here for sure. And Benevento continue their poor form, while Cagliari are in extravagant form, undefeated in their last 5, and they just continue to rack up the points. 12 p.m. we had Roma Crotone, where Roma just took this in a dominant performance. It was goalless at the half, but then the final score ended up being 5-0. So Crotone just broke down in the second half. But again, they were also already relegated as well, and they did now, since they conceded another 5 goals, they're at 90 goals conceded, which is just completely abysmal. let's hope they don't hit 100 goals in 3 games. That would just be poor. So, crucial win for Giallorossi. And Fonseca to see if they can finish at least 7th in the league. Now, 2:45, the big match of the weekend, and we were treated to an absolute stunning match. But this one between Juventus and Milan finished 3-0 for the Rossoneri. Huge win for Pioli and his players. That's also Pioli's only second victory against Juventus as a coach, both with Milan, and it's Milan's first victory in Turin in a decade. The last time they won was in 2011, the year they won the Scudetto, and ever since then, especially at the Allianz Stadium, they've played now 10 games there, 9 straight defeats, and now this one victory. So a huge, important win for Milan. And if you put into perspective too, it is a 3 point difference between the two now, but Milan have the head to head after this victory because the last game they finished 3-1 for Pirlo's men. And with the 3-0, that means if they finish tied points, it's Milan uh, going ahead of them, but huge advantage going into the Champions League race. So those were all the results that happened this weekend. Like I said, a lot of entertaining results here. Huge changes or huge pressures, whichever way you want to look at it. It really shakes the standings up and makes everything much closer, and it really makes it tighter for some teams to make sure they're not dropping points. What did you guys think? How did you guys feel in some of these games? Were there any issues from these games that you guys have thoughts on? Be sure to comment below. Let me know. So let's start off actually with Napoli because they put out a huge win against Spezia. Last time they actually did lose against Spezia, but Napoli are in better form now. Spezia aren't really finding themselves anymore. And it was 3-0 at halftime as well. So that really showed how fragile Spezia are right now. And they're being dragged into that relegation battle. Like I said before, they have been doing so well throughout the season, but sometimes it's that experience in Serie A. Yes, they do have a couple players who have played, but at the same time, when most of your team or even your coach doesn't regularly coach in the top flight, um, they don't know how to manage. Like, okay, yeah, you know how to do it in a lower end of the table. When you're fighting for, say, promotion or a playoff spot. Um, I feel that's kind of different because especially at the top flight, I guess I know there's also relegation in the bottom, like, in Serie B, but at the same time, it's different because you're playing against players like champions from these certain teams, like you're playing opposition like Cristiano Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, Lukaku, Dzeko, Belotti, you're playing players like that, right? So it's hard to compete, especially, like I said, when you're competing in Serie B to Serie A, it's a different type of opposition. So that experience really just, especially in the later half of the season, when other teams are fighting for these points, if you don't know how to combat that, um, how to overcome it, how to readjust yourself, it comes crucial because then now you're after looking safe for a bit. Now you're just really hanging by a thread and hoping to pick up whatever point you can, right? So it's been a tough ride for Spezia right now, and they're trying their best to see if they can pick up anything. They still have some crucial matches coming up, so let's see what they can do going forward. As for Napoli, now that they have their strikers back, they're starting to find some cohesion. So it's still yet to be determined if Gattuso is the coach of Napoli next year, but they are still playing well. They're getting closer to that um, Champions League spot. They just sit a point above it, but it's still in their advantage considering they still have head to head over Juventus as well. Um, and again, I always speak of head to heads, but remember, it is crucial, and especially in Italy, they do head to head over um, over goal differential. So it does come crucial if these teams can't get good results in both games. It's good that Napoli are getting these points. They're securing, and they are really getting it together. So they're trying to finalize their spot in the top four. So again, a crucial match. Again, they've been meshing well. They've really forgotten about they did even start well in Serie A at the beginning of the season. Then the whole outbreak situation after Genoa, and then the Juventus game, and then after that mess of a thing. But they have their strikers back who are playing well. Osimhen is really finding his form, and has really showed um, that he has a big future ahead of him. He's really finding his scoring touch and causing the opposition a lot of issues. So it's going to be a very tight race, but Napoli, Milan, Atalanta all have the advantage over Juventus. So it's all in these teams' court right now, or field, if you want to put it more technically in that sense, of maintaining where they are right now to secure themselves the top four, because they could easily, if they continue winning their matches and Juve continue to slip up again, then it's see you later Pirlo, see you later Champions League, see you later probably even Ronaldo, because I doubt he will want to go play in Europa League. So let's see how these games keep going, how these matches. Remember, it's getting down to the wire. Not many games left, and these teams are just so close. They can really taste Champions League football. One more match team I want to, or teams on Saturday that I will want to discuss is the matchup between Fiorentina and Lazio. Now, remember, Lazio do have that game in hand, so it can still change how things are in the standings, but it's still all to play for. It's gonna be very tight, and like I said, it's gonna be down to the wire. And it depends too how Lazio do in their game in hand. Because remember, they are playing against Torino, who are still fighting for safety. Depends if how their next game goes. They could even be assured of that beforehand. So it really, really depends. But Lazio would have hoped to pick up the points here in this match against a struggling Fiorentina side. But Fiorentina managed to pick up an important result that they're not, I guess you could say, mathematically safe. They're still very much at risk of but they really assured themselves that they're not going to be dragged into this relegation battle. They are 7 points out of that last spot, so it is a comfortable distance for them. If Benevento will lose one more game, then they are mathematically safe from relegation to Serie B. But 4 consecutive positive results for Fiorentina, so they are starting to pick up the crucial points that they need. But again, Vlahovic continuing his scoring run. He's the big guy to talk about right now. He had 4 goals in the first half of the season. Now in the second half has 17. And I feel the presence of Cesare Prandelli when he was there, it really did help bring the best out of him. It was unfortunate that he did have to step down as Fiorentina coach, but at least he is still picking out the goals for his side, and still helping them in any way he can. And now the question is how, if he will remain. But the thing is, especially with foreign owners, North American owners, they treat the clubs like businesses, like they do here in Canada, United States. I won't say every owner, because some of them are very passionate about their club or their team that they own, but a lot of them are business owners, and all they care about is, again, making business and trying to get the most profit that they can. So that's the thing. Will Camiso look to sell Vlahovic for the most that he can get? He'll probably want 60. There's rumors that he wants 40 to 60 million for him, and there are definitely some clubs that will be worth that would be willing to pay that much, maybe more, and overpay him just to secure your services. And with Camiso, he'll probably go with the biggest offer that he can get. But in that sense, it's tough to say, because Vlahovic, I feel, does need to move to a bigger team. Does he need one more year at Fiorentina, or can he make that big jump? But it also depends where he goes. It's a lot to really think about and what to have an opinion on, because we don't know. There are lots of teams. There's a few English clubs, I believe. Um, Roma, Milan, out of the Italian, maybe Inter. I'm not sure about Inter, to be honest, but I think it's more Milan and Roma that are looking at his services. He would be a great Ibra once Ibra does leave the club. So that would be more the long term solution, but it depends how he's able to fit in and integrate into those sides once he does arrive. So let's keep an eye out, but let's go back to the positive success here for Fiorentina. Picked up a crucial win, like I said, but also does hurt Lazio's chances for that top four, because now it's very tough, because Napoli can win one more game and it could really um, it could really hurt Lazio's chances of making the top four. But it also depends on how they do in their upcoming matches. Not that it wasn't the best result for Lazio, so they have a lot of stuff to work on in the off season as well, to see how they can strengthen their team to make top four once again, after most likely missing out this year. Until it's to be certain, until it's official, we can never say never. These teams can end up faltering, but the way some of these teams are in form, it's very tough to say. So uh, let's see how it goes. And so let's go on to the next matches. Atalanta, like I said, just putting on a goal show. They love to score. They are the highest scoring team in Serie A. They're at 84 goals. That's another 16 to get in 3 games. They would what? That's like 5 goals a match. I don't know if they can get that. Depends. They're really tough to say. So, but they, like I said, they do know how to score. They know how to win. They do just love putting their fun. Murillo scoring 20 goals now for the first time in his career. And if you want to put this into perspective, we have 4 scorers uh, inside the 20 goal mark. We have Immobile and Simi at 19. So I don't remember. I think last year too, we did have a couple of them inside 20 last year. So it's great to see that there's more of an attacking mindset now in Serie A, when we're not always in the defensive area as Italy's always known for. So it's shown that that the teams in Italy can score, and they're not constantly relying on defense. And in that instance, if you guys get what I'm trying to say, but it's huge to see that. But Atalanta, again, they're looking like they can make the top four for a third consecutive year in their history. They have really been shown what scouting can do, and not always buying the most extravagant players. They can turn the cheap finds into the best kind of players. And Gasparini really knows how to take that type of team and just make them click. It's incredible the work he has done with this team, and they just continue to roll on. They have one big game coming up, well, 2 big games coming up in this sense. They got the Coppa Italia against Juve coming up, and one of them will win a trophy. And imagine too if Juve do not win a trophy this year. So very fine lines right now. And then they have the game at the finals game at the end of the season against Milan. So depending on how both games before that go, as we know, there's 2 games before those 2 teams face. Um, they may or have already clinched top 4. We never know. But it's more to say where they're going to finish in the top 4, because remember, depending on the seeds, they could finish in pot 2, pot 3, or pot 4. So I guess we just got to see where they turn out. But again, huge result to Atalanta. Let's move on to the battle at the bottom between Cagliari and Benevento. Now, Benevento continuing their very, very poor run of form. In their last 5, they have 4 losses and a draw. Their last win coming against Juventus back in March. And they've just been completely abysmal. Even Inzaghi says, like, the morale's low, heads are down, like they just don't know what they can do to turn things around, because they really look safe at the beginning of the season. Like, no one would have expected them to be dragged into this. And now they even lost the head-to-head against Cagliari too, because last time they did beat them, um, last time around, and now losing to they beat them 2-1, now losing 3-1. So it's tough. And their last win at home was all the way back in December. So, like, you've gone, what, 4 months now, 3.5 months. Where are we? We're in May, actually. So at least 4 months without winning at home. And this whole and they have 2 away wins. So only since then, they have one win against the win against Cagliari in January, and then the win against Juve back in March. But you're not winning at home. You're constantly dropping points. They do have good players on their team that can help them, but at the same time, they have given up too many leads. They could be up a couple goals and then just end up giving it up by the end, are always going down early, like it happened in the last couple of weeks against Milan and Cagliari, and it just hasn't been able. They just haven't been able to rebound off that, um, or being able to come back properly. Like, there's just something wrong. And like I said, in the first half of the season, they were doing extremely well. It did look like they were on pace to stay. But now in the second half, if you're only getting 2 wins in the second half of the season, that is a relegation side waiting to happen. Unless they can pull out a miracle in their last 3 games and Spezia Cagliari really falter, then it's gonna be looking like people in Zaghi's Benevento will go back down to Serie B, and it's gonna be tough. Will Inzaghi stay at Benevento after having a record-breaking season with them in Serie B and then having this terrible year in Serie A? Will he move on to improve? Like, he's had these chances to improve. We've seen it. He's moved after his stint with Milan. He's moved around. He went to Venezia, now with Benevento. It's tough to say what he will do, um, but he knows he has to do something if he wants to get his side to stay in the top flight. So, but there is a lot of work that needs to be done. And for Cagliari, they have really shown to be picking up points. Didn't really play well again with Di Francesco. And I keep saying this, like, you weren't winning, and you decide to keep it and even renew your contract. And now you're going to be paying him still until he decides to find a new job. To me, that's just stupid. And look what Semplici. I always get his name mixed up. So, anyways, he's been producing results for Cagliari and is leading them to safety. He has been picking up the crucial points. He's been able to get the best out of his Cagliari side, and this is what they needed. They needed a coach who would be able to do that for them. And it's looking like, after a disastrous first half of the season, they're having a great second half. And it's the tale of two teams right now, team of 2 legs. It's just incredible for what they have achieved, and they will look like they will get to safety. Now let's move on to the big match of the weekend. Juve, Milan. And now this was really going to set up what was going to happen for the top 4. And as we remember, both teams going into tied points, going into this matchup at 69. Both teams fighting for that top 4. And like I was saying earlier, Milan going into this result not having won in a decade. Only one win. Well, they do have that win against Juve over the summer, but that was at the San Siro, as we remember that to a 4-2 victory after going down from 2 goals. Um, so not winning in Turin in 10 years, it was definitely a huge thing for them, and the pressure was definitely on more. I don't know who you want to say the pressure is more on, the underachieving Juventus or Milan, who has been kind of inconsistent as of late, but they are starting to pick it up again now. But the reason I say inconsistent is just because results that they needed to get didn't go their way. I just remember that against Lazio and against the Swallow, um, Juventus too could have been a little inconsistent as well. Um, but we have seen Juventus still come away with something like we saw against the last weekend with Udinese, where Ronaldo scored twice, but they still didn't look that great, and that's the thing. It still carried into this match. But a very tight affair. It's not like there was many chances going forward, but Milan broke through first. We saw Juve could potentially get back into the game with Szczesny saving Kessie's penalty, but then Rebic scoring an absolute beauty of a goal. I'll give also with Brahim Diaz, who was a surprise start as well, scoring another great goal, and then Tomori adding on. And like I said, this gave Milan the head-to-head advantage they needed. As I said, head-to-head is more important than goal differential in Italy. And even if we remember last time out when these two teams met at the San Siro, Milan did have a more depleted side. As we remember, game day, Krunic and Rebic also tested positive for COVID, so they did have to play a lot of their substitute players as well. And because you have to even put in the fact that Calabria started in midfield, and he even did score in that match too. But you got to play a fullback in midfield. That's how depleted they were. Um, so this is what happened. Milan getting a crucial victory with a lot more of their starters coming into this match. So they got a huge win, and it really shows like Juve's fragility now. And again, they don't have the head-to-head over Napoli. They don't have head-to-head over Milan, and they don't have head-to-head over Atalanta. They missed out on the Scudetto. They're eliminated embarrassingly in the Champions League. And now all they have left is the Coppa Italia. Anything, if that they want to at least get something, they want to at least get a trophy. But it's the way they've been playing. It's just terrible. This is also the second time where when Ronaldo played against Milan, he didn't come out. Yes, he scored 2 goals against Udinese last week, but he didn't do anything for 85 minutes of the match. Yes, you come in and score two late goals, but you disappear the whole time, and I guess coming clutch. Okay, some people were like, yeah, he still got the job done in the end, but you want someone like that who doesn't appear in just 5 minutes of the match. You want someone who appears in all the 90 minutes. You need someone to help you up, and he just didn't get anything done in this game. He's been this season. Okay, he does have 27 goals, right? He's now gone a few games. He scored once now in his last 4 matches, 4 or 5 matches, whatever it is. But that's the thing. He did. Like, I don't want to use stat pad, but he basically will go on mini droughts and then score 2-3 goals a game. Go on a mini drought, score another 2-3 goal. Like he hasn't been as consistent. Okay, yes, like I said, I'm saying he has 27 goals this season. Okay, I gotta admit he knows how to score, but to me he's hasn't been consistent with his scoring. He doesn't show up in games as much as he usually has. Maybe it's the age showing, I don't know, but I do feel Ronaldo has been a ghost most of the season. He disappears throughout the matches. Okay, will show up when he scores, but then after that, disappears. You can't have a play like, okay, you want to just have a player who scores, but it doesn't help your team for the rest of the match. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. It could depend on what you feel about that, everyone. So let me know how you think of Ronaldo, but he needs to do more. And I know it's not just him. It's the whole Juventus side. from the players to the management to the ownership. It's just a mess all around for Juventus. They are worth a whole video talking about, or even more of time here. But I don't, like I said, I don't think Ronaldo, if they do finish fifth spot, they will not, like, Ronaldo will not play Europa League. He will definitely be gone at the end of the season. He will want to leave, but we'll see who will want to get him. I know everyone will want to have a champion, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. But again, a crucial step for Milan getting it, because they just need, if they win one more game and Juve lose, they could be assured that top four already, because of the head-to-head over them. But it just depends also how Lazio and Napoli do as well. But Napoli, I know, are top four as well. Milan actually do have top four over Napoli. Sorry, head-to-head over Napoli as well. It's just over Lazio, depending on how they do in their two games. As you remember, their midweek game and then the game in hand against Torino. But again, I want to go with Milan because they got this crucial win, because their two tough games were against Juventus and Atalanta. And now that they got the Juventus one out of the way, they have to focus on Cagliari and Torino. Both teams fighting for relegation, fighting for safety. So that is crucial that they got this victory, because those games won't be easy as well, because they're going to play with everything they got, and it will be tough. Those teams are not easy, so Milan have to stay on their guard if they want to get another victory against the Turin side, or the Torino side this weekend. So very, very tough to say. Anyways, those are my thoughts about some of the matches that happened this weekend. If you guys agree with me, be sure to let me know. If I did miss anything or wanted me to talk about anything, I would want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. So be sure to let me know what you guys think. Let's quickly touch on the standings and how things look with only 3 games left to go. At the bottom, again, we know Parma and Crotone are already the first two relegated sides going down to Serie B. Already, they've technically now been replaced with Empoli being promoted last week, and now Salernitana just being promoted for the first time in 22 years. So congrats to them. And now it tightens everything here, as Benevento are the third team as of now, set to go down, but still 3 games left to decide that. They sit with 31 points. Just above them is Spezia at 34, Cagliari at 35, a bit of a 4-point gap. And remember, they just won the head-to-head now against them. Torino at 35 as well, but remember, they do have a game in hand against Lazio, so crucial match coming up. Genoa with a 5-point gap. They could be a little safe over them, but still, Genoa with 36 points, very tough for them. And Fiorentina at 38, I do feel Fiorentina is pretty much safe at this point, unless Benevento somehow win their next game and Fiorentina lose theirs. Then it's just all to play for in the coming matches. So very tight. Be sure to let me know who you guys think will be that third team going down. Can Benevento save their season, or will we see Pippo Inzaghi's side go down to the bottom? Moving up to the top of the standings, getting into the Europa League or Europa Conference League. That's going to be something new I have to remember to say. Between that battle, Roma and Sassuolo, with both teams winning this weekend, it still remains a 2-point difference between the two sides with only 3 games left to go. If they do finish tied at the end of the season, Roma do have the head-to-head over Sassuolo, as it did finish in a 2-all draw at Reggio Emilia. So big result for Roma if they want to finish it, and especially if with Mourinho coming in and them being in Europe, it does give them a little extra cash bonus to get any players that he wants. Maybe not that much, but you guys know what I mean, right? Moving on to the Europa League, places 5th and 6th. Now with that defeat, Juve sits alone in 5th spot with 69 points. Lazio 6th with 64 points, with a game in hand, of course. And now if they win that, they do go only 2 points behind Juventus, so putting on the pressure for them as well if they don't want to finish lower than they actually want to be. So huge pressure for them. but still lots to play for. We go into the Champions League spots. Napoli sitting fourth with 70 points. Milan and Atalanta both tied at 72. Atalanta second and Milan third, respectively. And then, of course, Inter at top, already being declared champions. They sit at 85 points. So those are the standings. Be sure to let me know who you guys will think will be in the top four. Who do you guys think will be in the Europa League? And the battle between Roma and Sassuolo, who's going to win that for the new Europa Conference League? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. And as we remember here, as I said earlier in the video, midweek fixtures coming up. So let's talk about the fixtures coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Tuesday, May 11th at 2:45, we only have one game that day, and that's Napoli Udinese. So Napoli will already look to put a statement victory on this against Udinese to ensure themselves a little put pressure on Juve, Atalanta, Milan. Just hopefully go second temporarily, but continue their fine run of form. Let's see what they can do in this match. Udinese can be very tricky at times, but they have shot themselves in the foot, especially giving up late leads in the end. Moving on to Tuesday now, May 12th at 12:30 we have a match, and that's between Cagliari and Fiorentina. So all to play for on the bottom here. Now, if Cagliari can win this, they could really put pressure on the other teams: Torino, Genoa, Spezia, Benevento. This could really tighten, shake everything up. But if Fiorentina doing this, they would be mathematically safe. Like I said, they already pretty much, you could say, are assured safety, but it's the extra insurance going forward and not have to worry about being dragged into anything at the end. So would be a crucial match for both sides and should be a very entertaining affair, especially the form that both teams are coming into this match with. Now moving on to the afternoon games, several games at 2:45. We have Atalanta Benevento, so huge match for both teams. Atalanta will want to see how Napoli do in their game, but put on the pressure for the other teams as well. While Benevento need to find a win somehow, and they hope they can do that against a free-flowing, scoring Atalanta side. So let's see how that match finishes. We have a Bologna-Genoa, huge match for Genoa. They want to pick up some points here and hopefully come away with a crucial victory and not be dragged into the relegation battle as well. Inter Roma, so a huge match here. As we know, Inter already Scudetto champions, have already won the title, so they don't really have to necessarily play their top players, but I think to still put up a challenge and finish the rest of the season without any defeats, they will see if they can do that as well. Roma want to pick up 3 points to hopefully can start on some good run to finish off the season under Fonseca. Only one win in their last five, so it'll be a crucial win for them, and also puts the pressure on Sassuolo on their game as well. So we should be set for an entertaining affair between these two sides. Lazio Parma, as we know, Parma already relegated, while Lazio want to pick up a crucial win. And again, just put pressure on Juve for at that moment. They all play at the same time, but they always know how the other teams do as well. So a huge match, especially with their game in hand as well. Sassuolo Spezia, so a Ligurian derby here. More crucial match for Spezia as they want to get a win and pull themselves away from the bottom and pretty much set Benevento down if they can. So lots to play for. Let's see if Spezia can find some type of form against a strong Ranieri side who always knows how to organize his teams well. Sassuolo Juventus is another big one here, and as we know, Sassuolo will want to win too to perhaps get into some European action next year. While Juventus want to try to get back into the top four, it can be difficult. I know they only sit 1 point out, but it really depends on how the other games go as well. Even if they win and Milan, Atalanta both lose and Napoli win, they will still sit in fifth spot. But tough ask for because Sassuolo can be a very tough side. They've known to give a lot of the big teams struggles or get them to struggle. So let's see how De Zerbi can what he can do against Pirlo's Juventus, who have looked very, very inconsistent this year. Now, the last match on the Wednesday is Torino-Milan. So, again, a huge match for both sides as Milan trying to assure themselves a top 4 finish, while Torino fighting for their lives to make sure they finish in that in the top flight this year, and again pull themselves away out of the relegation, especially when they play Lazio. They want to get as many points as they can before that match. I know they will play with everything they got before that, but you still want to play knowing you can try to beat every opponent coming into it. So going to be a fine game here, I feel, and especially with Milan just beating Juve, they want to go again for a double victory over the Torino sides. I forget what it's Torinese, I guess. I don't know. But you guys know what I mean. And then to end off round 36, we have one game on Thursday, May 13th, 2:45. Crotone, Verona, just two teams playing for whatever they can. Verona hasn't won for a while now. They have 2 wins and 3 losses in their last 5. So they hope to at least get a win and just kind of end this negative little streak or whatever. And then Crotone are just trying to win as many games as they can, possibly not concede as many goals as they would have usually. So let's see how this game goes, right? So those are all the matches for round 36. Again, midweek fixtures. So be sure to let me know what matches you guys are looking forward to this weekend or this week. How do you guys think it'll play out? How will it affect the standings? Be sure to comment below. Let me know. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Calcio_bros, for matchday updates, opinions, thoughts, and just regular updates about teams. So we hope that you guys can follow us there. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Calcio content and click the bell to receive notifications on when we release our latest videos. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. Ciao.